Abortion. Abortion is a tough and controversial topic to talk about. Under the constitutional right, a woman has the liberty to control her body, which means she has the ability to terminate a pregnancy. As human beings, we are the only ones who should be allowed to do whatever we want with ourselves. Abortion is the destruction of the fetus while the fetus is still in the mother's womb. Choice over when and whether to have children is central to a woman's independence and ability to determine her future. Embryos and fetuses are not independent, self-determining beings. An abortion is a termination of a pregnancy, not a baby. More than 50% of women who have gotten abortions have experienced relief. Also, when done safe and properly, abortion has no long or short-term physical effects. A woman's choice, life, and well-being matters. Knowing that it's the woman's choice matters. The risk of death associated with childbirth is about 10 times higher than deaths associated with abortion. From the Alan Gumatcher Institute Facts and Brief on Induced Abortion, 75% of women say that they are choosing to have an abortion because having a child would interfere with their education, work, and other responsibilities. A fetus has a heartbeat at about 5 weeks, and a woman doesn't even know she's pregnant at about 5 to 8 weeks. Abortion gives pregnant women the option to choose not to bring fetuses with profound abnormalities to full term. Some fetuses have such severe disorders that death is guaranteed before or shortly after birth. Some things could be like the brain is missing, a limb-body wall complex, in which organs don't really match up in the body. It would be cruel to force women to carry fetuses with fatal defaults to term. Even in the case of non-fatal conditions such as Down syndrome, parents may be unable to care for a severely disabled child. Dobrev and Diskol, MD professor of obstetrics and gynecology of the University of Pennsylvania, states that many couples don't have the resources and don't have the emotional stamina or don't have the family support to raise a child with Down syndrome. So now I'm going to work against the cons. There are many cases in which we choose an innocent person to die. So some examples would be conjoined twins. The operation to separate the twins can cause one of them to live and one of them to die. It is a fetus, not a person. It doesn't qualify as a person. It is still living in the mother's womb. Therefore, it's part of a woman and it hasn't gone on its own life. Pregnant women have moral rights too. Under most circumstances, the following may override the child's right to living. A woman has a right to her ownership of her body. A woman has the right to decide her own future. A woman has a right to make her own decisions without moral or legal intervention by others. Woman has right to her own life. Abortion can defeat a woman from the danger to her mental or physical health that continuing with the pregnancy could cause. It's ethical for someone to defend themselves when in danger. They might even choose violence or to kill if the pregnancy kills the mother. The fetus will be affected as well. As a result of such changes, the pregnant woman may suffer a variety of ailments. More common ones include morning sickness, nausea, vomiting, muscle cramps, pain, anemia, tiredness, and migraines. Deaths. In 2006, 1.3 million women had an abortion in the USA. In that time frame, only 16 of those women died, but no one has been able to explain the infections. It's better to just use protection and not get pregnant in the first place. Contraception. Methods like condoms, birth control pills, and IUDs are often thought as safe, but many times that they have failed to do their job. A study in 2017 in the UK found that 60,000 women that ended up at a BPA abortion services were there due to failed condoms, birth control pills, or other UDIs. These women had been using pills which normally are the most trustworthy, but even those have a chance of failing. As my rebuttal, women who get pregnant could put the kid up for adoption, but many families, like foster cares, child services, are careless and sloppy. Giving the baby up for adoption is not making it better because these kids could be living in the worst days of their lives. Placing children with foster care or adopted families who cannot cope with their difficulties can often cause fatal consequences. In an article called Account of My Family Experiences of the Adoption System, a family had adopted two sisters aged 18 months and 2 months. Lucy and Maron needed tender loving, told by the social services. The family had noticed that the girls were behaving strangely. By the time the eldest Lucy was 16 and she was diagnosed as psychotic. Lucy's behavior was too difficult to the family to cope with. The original mother, who hit Lucy with a hammer at 14 weeks and further battered at 10 months, Lucy is in the result of incest between her mother and the mother's brother. All this information was kept from the family. The social workers didn't provide any of this information and no apology. The family took it further to their local authority. By law, we should have sued within 3 years of discovering they had withheld information from us. 3 years, which during were trying to cope with the mentally ill and handicapped child, and hold the rest of the family together. There are many more cases just like this. Carrying a baby in your womb for months and letting that baby come out knowing it's walking around is one of the hardest things. Knowing you can't be around the baby when it's in these adoption homes or adopted families. Another thing that a pro-life person might say is it's murder. The killing of an innocent human being is wrong, even if that human being has yet to be born. Unborn babies are considered human beings by the U.S. government. The Federal Unborn Victims of Violence Act, which was enacted to protect unborn children from assault and murder. The landmark abortion case Roe v. Wade, decided on January 22, 1973, in favor of abortion rights, remains the law of the land. The 7-2 decision stated that the Constitution gives a guarantee of certain areas or zones of privacy, and that this right of privacy is broad enough to encompass a woman's decision whether or not to terminate her pregnancy. There was this one case where a baby was born armless, legless, and soon after birth, the baby died. The doctors thought the best option was to abort the baby, but in some places, abortion is banned, in which they couldn't do. My solution. Women that share their personal experience with abortion emotionally, physically, and financially feel so relieved. So many children would end up in foster homes if there wasn't for abortion. So many lives ruined, and it's just so very cruel. Just like how gay marriage equals equality, strict gun laws equals a good idea, and equal pay equals something that needs to happen. Abortion equals a choice, not a crime. Abortion should have nothing to do with anyone besides the woman and her doctor. Thank you.